Oh, what is up, guys? Or should I say, what's shaking, BookTube? This is a book tag video, and you'll probably notice straight away that it's a bit of a different one. Let me get myself comfortable here. I'm trying to do this all without any cuts or anything, so excuse me if there is an awkward silence at any point. Alrighty. Okay. You'll also have to excuse the fact that you can see my reflection back there. Oh god, I'm already out of breath. I am super unfit. Whew. Okay. Anyway, I was tagged in a tag video by Peter from Peter Likes Books. It's called The World's Worst Book Tag. And the reason I'm doing this in my bedroom is because the idea is that you're just meant to do it in the laziest place possible without special lighting or getting dolled up or anything. Obviously my hair is already dead because I've been out doing errands and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not using lighting. You might be able to see in the reflection there that I have studio lights. That's for my normal videos. I'm not using them for this. I'm actually using natural lighting. Anyway, this isn't a video about lighting. Good lord, why am I so out of breath? Oh, I think it's just really hot today. Like ridiculously hot. Plus I've got the apartment's been closed up all day while I've been out, so it's kind of stuffy. Anyway, I'm here to do a book tag, so a book tag I will do. Anyway, let's get into it. So, World's Worst Book Tag. There's about 10 questions, some pretty good ones, if I may say so. And yeah, Peter from Peter Likes Books created it. He's fantastic. Check him out if you haven't already. Should I roll the intro? It feels weird to roll the intro on this kind of video. You know what? I'm not going to do it today. No rolling in the intro. We're just keeping it on one continuous video. For perhaps the first time. I don't know if I've done this before. You know, this is why I cut, because I'm starting the ramble. Anyway, you know what? Question 1. What book or series would you force your enemy to read? When I think of my enemy, I don't really have enemies, but there is a guy at work that I'm not a big fan of. He's just a bit of a dickhead, to be honest. I'd make him read something super girly, because he's like one of those guys who likes to think of himself as a manly man, and manly men simply can't like rom-coms or anything remotely feminine. So I'd make him read something like, I don't know, Bridget Jones's Diary or something. Maybe it'll make him less of an asshole. Let's just say that. So yeah, let's go with Bridget Jones' Diary. Question 2. What book have you tried to read several times but haven't been able to finish? I'll say those, you know, the Court of Mist and Court of Thorns and Roses, whatever. Anyway, I tried to read the first one in that series, and I don't know, I just didn't really get into it. I get it's massive. It's got like a massive fandom that support it wholeheartedly, and it wasn't even necessarily bad. It just didn't interest me particularly. Yeah, I'll just go with that. The Court of Whatsy and Whatsy, and then they've got all these other kind of spin-off ones like Lady Midnight and shit. I don't know, I'm just hella lost when it comes to that whole series. I wouldn't even know where to start. Question 3. What book has a close friend recommended that you ended up loving? You know what, for this I'll choose, and I've already chosen, Dark Matter, which was the book we chose for one of the Read, React, Repeat book club months. It was suggested by Aaron, I think, and I wasn't expecting much with this. I didn't think I would like it. I was a bit bummed that it got picked for the month. Ended up loving it. It was probably the best book I read for the year at that point. Yeah, I was absolutely blown away. And yeah, massive fan of Blake Crouch now, simply because of that. What book in the last year took you the longest to read? 'Cause you're lazy, in parentheses. There's this book called What Milo Saw, and I don't know if that was the book that took me the longest to read, but I kind of dragged out my reading of that book extensively just because it was boring, like super boring for at least the first half of the book, but I was so determined to finish it because I saw potential there for a great storyline, or at least a great ending. The ending kind of fell flat as well, but yeah, I don't know, it just took me a long time. To summarize quickly, what Milo saw is about a boy who has retinitis pigmentosa, I think it's called, where it's like you're always looking through a tiny little keyhole, and essentially he witnesses his grandma at the nursing home being abused by the lady in charge there, and he goes on this big journey to expose the person who's mistreating his grandma. And he meets other whimsical characters, such as a refugee, along the way, and it's just kind of throwing out a lot of stuff that I feel was trying to pick up points just from the liberal crowd for mentioning these things, and I don't know, it felt a bit cheap to me and it was a bit boring. Anyway, moving on. What's the fastest book you've read in the last 5 years because it was so damn good? I don't know about the last 5 years, but there is a book I want to mention called Waiting for Doggo. This is, as I've mentioned before, one of the most charming reads I've ever done, and I think I read it in like one day, just because it was so damn... I don't even know if I would say interesting, because the plot is so light, like there's not really a plot even. It's just about a guy who gets dumped and he gets left with the dog, and he develops a relationship with the dog while moving into a new career, and it's just really charming. It's a really charming read, and I really enjoyed it. Number 6, clear your mind. What are the first 3 books that immediately come into your mind? Waiting for Doggo comes up straight away. Dark Matter, again, just mentioning books I've already mentioned. Off to Be a Wizard. I say that because that book is currently on its way to me. I'm waiting for Off to Be a Wizard to arrive, and holy hell, this is one of the books I've been most excited to read about. I won't go into it, what it's about. If you want to find out what Off to Be a Wizard is about, just Google it. But it sounds amazing. Like, I really can't wait to read this book. I'm going to be reading it as soon as it arrives. Yeah. Anyway, last book you will admit to skimming. Inkheart, another Read, React, Repeat book club book that I had massive high hopes for. I thought it was going to be amazing because I was a big fan of the movie, even though a lot of people weren't fans of the movie. But the book kind of sucked. I just wasn't a big fan of the book. It was really boring. It dragged out way longer than it needed to. There was a lot of the story was just traveling from one place to another. Characters traveling between places, and yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't good. It was a bit of a mess. Number 8, what author, if they secretly dropped a brand new book tomorrow, would you immediately have to buy and begin to read ASAP? I'm going to say Blake Crouch, with the hope that if he did release another book, it would be another kind of mind-bendy sci-fi. I'm really into that stuff at the moment. You know, books that are a lot similar to let's say the TV show, Black Mirror. If you haven't watched Black Mirror on Netflix, go watch it because it is amazing. It messes with your head, and I love that kind of stuff, and I love those kinds of books as well. 9, favorite book type or book to read in bed or by the pool. I'm guessing this is books that are kind of relaxing. I'll say quirky books. So again, books like Waiting for Doggo, where it's just a light plot, quirky and just charming read, something that doesn't get you thinking too much, but something that leaves a nice little impression or feeling on you for the rest of the day at least. And then number 10, what book would you give to your best friend and force them to read because it's so good? Ready Player One, I would give it to my best friend, or at least one of my best friends, Brad Kernke, who lives in my hometown. He's one of my best mates. I would give him Ready Player One because there's obviously a movie coming out soon based on that book by Steven Spielberg. And me and Brad are big gamers. Sean as well, another one of my mates, Sean. We're big gamers, and we've always talked about how cool it would be for this virtual reality world to exist, and that's what this movie is about. But the book as well is a really good read. We read that for a Read, React, Repeat book month. And Sean's not so much of a big reader. That's why I mentioned Brad more, because I think he reads a lot more than Sean. And I imagine there's a lot of stuff in the book that you would want to consume before watching the movie so that you better understand the movie or context of certain points in the movie. And yeah, that's all the questions. I feel like I'm dying here. It's so stuffy. I need to get up, open a window. The reason I've got the windows closed at the moment is because I live in a pretty central area, so there's a lot of traffic and it would have been really loud otherwise, but it's really stuffy. I'm kind of dying, so I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you again for watching. I hope it was nice to have a little bit of change of scenery. I hope it was nice to be able to watch the back of my head while I talked. That's, that's something. And congratulations to me for finally doing a video without any cuts. All my social media links are below. Thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, join the Wolfpack and subscribe. And if you are in the Wolfpack, I'll see you in the next video. Catcha! Should I cut out the bit where I come up to turn the camera off? I think not.